I bought this 2024 Diavel V4 for just under $7,000. It was wrecked pretty badly, and we're fixing it up, and it's gonna be great. So if you've been following along, I bought this Ducati off of Copart, which is an auction site where you can buy used and wrecked vehicles, and I got this for cheap. Now I got it cheap because it is in rough shape. There was a lot of work that needed to get done. At this point, we have removed all of the front suspension, the cluster up top, and now what I'd like to do is start removing the radiators and all the side and lower fairings on the bike. Now just looking at it, the radiator actually looks pretty good. There isn't much damage on the radiator itself or the lower oil cooler that I can see. There is a little bit of damage to the plastic outer shell, which holds up some of these fairings. It looks like the radiator stay bracket here got bent a little bit, which that should be fine. That can be bent back. It's just these rubber bushings that hold it in. So that's okay. I think we can work with that. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to remove this radiator or the oil cooler, but it looks like there's enough damage here to make it worth my while to take everything off, make sure it looks good, make sure all the hoses are okay, and just move forward from there. All right, first things first, in order to take the radiator and the oil cooler off, a lot of the side pieces have to come off as well, and they have to come off first. All of these fairings here are attached in some way to the radiator itself, and so before anything else comes out, fairings have to come off first. Holding this upper side fairing on, we have a couple of Allen bolts here and over here. And a couple in the front, we have here, and holding onto the radiator itself here. All right, that side fairing came off fairly easily. It's actually in pretty good shape on the outside. It needs a little bit of retouching, but that's okay. That can be done. Now, there's supposed to be 3 tabs where you attach it to the inner plastic, and 2 of those are gone. I would say we just replace it, but this piece here is $185, give or take. And that's way too much money to spend on a piece of plastic like this. So we're gonna repair it. Now the inner plastic itself, this is pretty mangled, and this piece here is not that expensive. We can replace this one and I won't feel so bad about it. Let's move these brake lines out of the way so we don't snag anything, but just rinse and repeat for the left side. A couple of Allen bolts to remove in the front and in the back. And she should come out without any hassle. All right, moving right along, we're gonna remove the lower fairings to the oil cooler or the oil cooler cover fairings. And that should be fairly easy as well. There's just a few more Allen bolts, 1, 2, and 3, and then that should be removed pretty easily as well. Let's get to it. Yes, I do think removing all of these Allen bolts with a drill would be faster and easier, but we make do with what we have. Where did you come from? Don't know, but you're broken. We'll figure you out. You should come out. What's the dealio? Oh. There's another Allen bolt. Found it. All right, with all the Allens taken out from the bottom, this one should be easy to take off. And I was wrong. All right, while we're here, let's go ahead and remove this oil cooler guard. Got some debris down here. That's always fun to see. And these are looking really good still. But there just doesn't seem to be any damage on here, which is incredible, hard to believe, and I love it. I figured it out. It's that second bolt. That second bolt way back here. I knew it the whole time. I was just joking. F in the chats. Okay. Whoop. That looks good. Dirty, but good. All right, I'm pretty excited about that. Everything came off really easily. Nothing seems broken. All of the pieces are fully intact, no cracks. They're very dirty, they're pretty scuffed up, but that's okay. We're gonna refinish these anyways. I think I would like to paint this a custom color, but we'll talk about that at a later time. But for right now, everything is really usable, in really good shape, and I'm really excited. All right, now that we have all the side fairings off of the motorcycle, I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the radiator. Now I'm gonna try my best to leave the oil cooler intact. It seems like there's not much damage there, so if I can leave that intact in place, that's gonna make my life a little bit easier, I think. As I start to take off this front radiator, there's a couple bolts holding the radiator to the oil cooler itself. We're gonna remove those and just start to detach the two from themselves and go from there. All right, we're gonna start removing some of these hoses as well. That's good, Ada. Oh boy, that is called radiator fluid. And that makes a big old giant mess. Cools down your engine. All right, I believe the radiator is ready to come out. So I'm gonna snip my zip tie, holding it in place. So there's one wire way back here that needs to get removed. You have to do that before the radiator. All right, with all the wiring, with all the hoses taken off, we are ready to remove the front radiator. Slowly, ever so slowly. All right, so the radiator looks like it's in pretty good shape. There is some definite breakage on the actual plastic housing where the fans are. And some of that holds the radiator to the bike, but I do think that that can be fixed or replaced. The main radiator itself looks really good, except for one area, which is right here in the back, but I don't see any signs of cracking or leaking from there. It looks like it was mainly just the fins. I'll probably take it to a radiator shop and then we'll go from there, but that seems really fixable. It's in really good shape as is. All right, with that radiator out of the way, it opens up this area for us to see if there's any damage. It doesn't look like there's much damage here. There's this plastic shroud here that has a little bit of damage. I'm gonna go ahead and take that out as well so we can get to this oil cooler. The oil cooler looks like it's in perfect condition. We're gonna leave that as is. This shroud definitely has some breakage here, and I think this is where the other plastic piece went that we took out earlier and we didn't know where it went to. Probably fits right in there, I'm sure. All right, bend that little piece back there real quick while I'm here. That looks like it's doing okay. All right, well, it looks like we've torn down pretty much everything in the front that I want to take off the bike. So now it's going to make sure that that radiator is working. We got to get that front suspension all back in check. And now what we can do is we can move to the back of the bike. There is a lot to do. There are brackets that are broken behind some of these key components. There are plastic pieces that are definitely broken that need to come off, and to do that, it's just a little bit more stripping down. So we're gonna do that really quick, get all the pieces out that are broken, and then move forward from there. So these wires here, these hydraulics for the brakes, these have seen better days. I don't think that they are too far gone, but if you can see there, there's some chewage happening there, like somebody took a bite out of them. And again, I don't think they're bad, but just to be safe, we're gonna replace this as well. All right, now for this bad boy. This whole thing has to come out because it is missing one of the key brackets. One of the stays here broke off right there. So the whole thing comes out. There's a lot of bolts just to hold on to a piece of plastic. But she's out. Everything on this side looks really good. Everything's in place. Everything seems to be intact, no broken parts, which is fantastic. So, happy with that. All right. Ducati. We get to start putting things on the motorcycle. But I guess to put this on, we do have to take off a little bit more. So this piece here is gonna go behind all of these things here. We have a bracket here that is broken. We're gonna replace it. And this is gonna hold up a bunch of really important pieces of the motorcycle. So we gotta take off a little bit more, but then we're gonna start building back. All right, we gotta start by removing all of the wires and everything that are attached to the bracket behind this, and then we'll start to slowly peel off the pieces from this bracket. The 5/16 bolt. Holding it on. Cool. All right, with all of that out of the way, it should be able to slide out. Let's see. We got a lot of stuff. Gotta watch out for. All right. She's very dirty, but we're gonna replace it. All right, out with the old, in with the new. But before we replace it completely, there's actually one big piece that I forgot about. So this here is the ABS module, and so that controls all of the braking system for the bike, and there's a bracket behind there that was broken. So it attaches right here, and you have to attach this part of the bracket from behind the ABS module. And so luckily, I do have that part, but before I go ahead and put that big bracket on, I gotta put the small bracket on first. That way it just makes my life a lot easier as I replace everything. So that comes first. All right, so luckily we didn't have to replace the whole module itself. That module is a few $1,000s, and this bracket is like 20 bucks. So very happy with that. So this little piece of plastic is what goes on the back over here. And so we're gonna pop that out and pop this on, and then we should be in really good shape. Let's see, ready, tighty. Yeah. All right, well, I'm too lazy for that. All right, let's transfer over all of the pieces from this to this and get moving. All right, let's go ahead and put this back on. Okay, get that loose. All right, now at this point, we gotta slip this back behind everything and get it in line and ready for it to mate with all the new pieces. Easier said than done. And just like that, the first new part is on the motorcycle. There's a lot more to do. We have so much more that needs to get done on this motorcycle, but the first new part is back on this motorcycle. So we are one step closer to it being back on the road. Now with that being said, I just shipped out the suspension to a specialist out in Tennessee who is going to be rebuilding that. We still have the radiator back here that needs to get looked at, and I still have a lot of work to do on refurbishing a lot of the fairings and plastic bits that I just are too expensive for me to go out and buy brand new. That's gonna be a wrap for this episode. Thank you so much for following along. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support. Hit that like button. Grab me a follow if you can. We'll see you next time. Bye. Oh boy, that was stupid of me. Okay, that's not going in the video.